Hello and welcome to another Joe Nakamoto interview. This conversation formed part of my research into the documentary I made called How to Spot Crypto Scams. Please check out that video on my other channel and feel free to share it with a friend who is new to crypto. Enjoy the interview.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good afternoon. My name is Joe.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
What's your name, sorry?
I'm Hadan with the Alex Lab Foundation.
Hadan.
ED lead? Yeah.
Hi. Do you work together or?
Yeah, we're both with Alex.
Super, okay. I used to work for Cointelegraph as a journalist. I still work for them freelance. I went independent this year.
Yeah.
I make content and do investigations in the Bitcoin space about new projects, where they're going. And one of the big trends at the moment is, of course, ordinals and bridging. You guys are a finance layer on Bitcoin, but it's a bridge, right? Would you be able to explain the project a bit?
Sure. And so Alex is building a Bitcoin finance layer. The way that we do that is through the Stack smart contracts.
Okay.
Where in 2022 we launched our mainnet that really began as a DeFi protocol, building out these DeFi primitives, meaning like an AMM DEX, an IDO launchpad, borrow lend, staking, these other functionalities.
Right.
With 2023 onward and the Ordinals protocol, we've made a shift towards building really a Bitcoin DeFi layer.
Okay.
By that we mean that we've created the X-Link bridge that allows users to take Bitcoin L1 assets, such as BRC20 tokens and now runes, and bring them to the Alex layer, where with programmability they can use them on an AMM DEX, swap them to stable coins, use them as collateral to borrow against.
Okay.
And the X-Link bridge, we're also bridging liquidity across Bitcoin L2s, in addition to multi-chain like EVM and Binance.
Right, okay.
So our goal being that as all these Bitcoin L2s emerge, instead of having these fragmented liquidities, which harm the user experience and make swapping inefficient and high fees, we're becoming a liquidity aggregator layer, so that, for example, users can take assets that are on Core DAO, bring them onto Alex, swap them into stable coins. Those stables they can move out to Ethereum, or they can keep them as Bitcoin, move them to the L1, move them to B squared. We're talking to BOB layer.
Right.
And every week over the next 2 months, we're going to be integrating another Bitcoin L2 into X-Link.
Okay, so you're like the mothership of all these Bitcoin L2s.
Yeah, you could think of us, if you have a wheel of these L2s, we're the central hub of liquidity, where assets can seamlessly be moved from one layer to another, abstracting away all the complexity and making it a frictionless and user-friendly user experience.
Okay.
And so that users are very easily able to move assets around and really make the most of the experience.
Right, okay. And what's the token or what's the security that underpins all this?
Sure, and so Alex is the ecosystem token.
Is that the ticker, ALEX?
Yes, ALEX.
Okay, right, yeah.
We're listed on several centralized exchanges.
Right, okay.
And we're the top Bitcoin DeFi protocol per market cap, TVL, and community at the moment.
Okay.
And we also, have the X-Link bridge, which I mentioned, which is bridging across Bitcoin L2s and multi-chain liquidity.
Right, okay.
And we also recently released Lisa, which is a liquid stacking staking protocol.
Yeah.
It's like Lido on Ethereum.
Yeah.
For the Stacks ecosystem. Well, we've also expanded it to the Alex token itself, so you can do liquid staking with Alex.
Yeah.
And that same liquid staking infrastructure will also be applicable to say if there are L2 ecosystem tokens that have staking yields, they can use the Lisa infrastructure to have liquid stacking, liquid staking, so that users can receive rewards without sacrificing liquidity, and they can use those liquid tokens to, for example, use as collateral to borrow stablecoins to maximize capital efficiency and reduce opportunity costs.
Sure, okay. And we're hearing a lot about the L2 stuff nowadays.
Right.
An L2, the definition of it was fairly straightforward. It seems to have evolved and morphed into something else here.
Right.
I've been asking every project here what they consider or how they define an L2. Given that you are the wheel that holds all together, what do you label an L2?
All right, so an L2, to start from first principles, you have Bitcoin, this revolutionary, amazing asset. It's the most secure and decentralized blockchain or network in human history. So with the Bitcoin trilemma, you have scalability, security and decentralization. Bitcoin maximizes for its security and decentralization more so than any other blockchain or network, which leads scalability. So the two capabilities we want to expand on Bitcoin are programmability and scalability. Since Bitcoin is designed to be immutable, resistant to government attacks, resistant to change. We believe the way to do that are through L2 solutions that can provide smart contracts and provide programmability and then provide scalability for Bitcoin.
Right, okay, so an L2 for you is something which provides scalability and smart contracts on Bitcoin.
Yes, so you're expanding
Yeah.
Bitcoin's capabilities without changing the L1. You know, it's important that the L1.
But then you could say that Coinbase is an L2.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a centralized L2, then you could argue that. You could argue that for other centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
But if you want, say, like a decentralized L2.
So that's another component you have to have. It's got to be decentralized as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, for example, we build on the Stacks blockchain.
Yeah.
So probably, now there are multiple Bitcoin L2s that have grown, especially over the past 12 months.
Right.
Prior to ordinals in 2023, some of the originals were, for example, like Stacks, Rootstock, RGB. So with
They all have their own tokens as well, right?
no, I think Stacks is unique in having a token. The reason being for having a token, one, it's to incentivize Stacks miners, and also to have a global ledger of the state of history of Stacks.
Right, yeah.
And so, with Stacks, it built a smart contract layer on top of Bitcoin, floated in Clarity, a non-Turing complete decidable language. And also, Stacks is unique in that it shares consensus with Bitcoin through proof of exchange.
Okay.
So to explain that, for Bitcoin, you have to burn energy to mine the Bitcoin.
Yep.
In order to mine the Stacks block, you have to send Bitcoin and initiate a Bitcoin transaction.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you record the state history of Stacks on that blockchain.
Sure. Yeah, understood.
So in this way, Stacks inherits the security of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and that it would take to change the history of Stacks, it would have to effectively change the history of Bitcoin as well.
Okay, let's double down a bit more into the L2 definition here.
Yeah.
So we're talking about it solving as two key things in your view: programmability and scalability.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other components that you think is necessary for an L2 to be an L2?
Because I guess, when you look at crypto, you want to address use case, essentially across the board. And so I guess really we look to L2s because we want more conservative when it comes to the base layer of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's important it be kept immutable, it be kept proof of work, that the supply remain 21 million coins.
Yeah.
So then to expand its capacity. So for example, Bitcoin block times being 10 to 15 minutes. Stacks currently operates on Bitcoin block times, but is currently undergoing a Nakamoto release. So in about 8 to 10 weeks, Stacks blocks will be about 5 seconds. And so effectively you'll have something like Ethereum, but that has Bitcoin settlement and Bitcoin finality. Another example of, say, when it comes to scalability, would be something like the Lightning Network.
Yeah, but what problem does that solve? Sorry, I don't understand.
Sure.
Say you're faster, so what?
So it's faster because particularly when it comes to user experience,
Yeah.
when we're talking about mass adoption, we have a lot of Web 2 users who are coming over to Web 3. It's really hard to maintain someone's attention and wait for like a 10 to 15 minute confirmation time for a transaction to come through.
Yeah, it's average of 10, but
Right.
Yeah.
If you can bring it down to 5 seconds, now it's much more user friendly. So these new users come and you have that greater retention.
Right,
And so
okay.
especially in DeFi, where sort of your core users are traders,
Yeah.
for whom every second really counts, that makes a really big difference in expanding the user base and the total TVL of Bitcoin DeFi.
for people that want to do financialization stuff on top of Bitcoin.
Exactly,
Okay.
right.
And use the
Right.
term Web3 there as well. So, historically, Web3, and Bitcoin don't mix. Are you now saying that Bitcoin and Web3 are mixing or should mix?
Well, I'm saying through L2s and say once you have programmability on Bitcoin,
Yep.
that now opens the door to potentially creating a Web3 that has Bitcoin as a base layer.
So the Web3 that we talked about 3 years ago in the crypto space is now going to be the Web3 on Bitcoin.
Well, the Web3 that we talked about in the crypto space, it was originally described with like blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, these L1s.
Yep.
That characteristically were, Ethereum being the original chain that was programmable on the L1, that has these L2s. And so basically I would say what we're doing is that we're taking the most successful experiments from Ethereum, from Solana, and we're bringing them home to Bitcoin as the mother chain, because Bitcoin remains unique in its security and immutability because it is powered through proof of work. We can't understate the importance of proof of work which is a physical anchor that ties Bitcoin to the real realm, as opposed to potentially a proof of stake system,
Okay.
which some might criticize as being almost like an oligarchy of the early holders of that network.
Yeah, sure.
So, what do we see as the ultimate use case for what we're building today? Alex is a
Money. It's money, by the way.
money.
It's fixing the money.
Yes, but the question is how do we get there, and how do you argue that case?
Yeah.
So Alex is a Bitcoin DeFi protocol that was built by veteran financial quants.
Yeah.
Like I myself was a Goldman Sachs trader, so was our CEO, CTO, COO. So we built the DeFi on Bitcoin, not to rival Ethereum or Solana, but to rival TradFi.
Okay.
It's our point of view that it's inevitable that going forward, we're going to have increasing tokenization of real-world assets.
Right. Okay.
From real estate to commodities, for the simple reason that blockchain is the superior technology for the storage and transfer of wealth.
So it used to be a phrase that you would say is like Bitcoin, not blockchain, but now you're saying it's Bitcoin and blockchain.
Right. I think what we've seen, particularly in 2023, there was this inflection where prior to that, Bitcoin was really seen as purely this money layer store of value. With the
And a medium exchange as well.
It's become a data layer.
Right. Yeah.
People will pay a premium for a Satoshi because of the block space that Bitcoin provides. Because the data of etching information on Bitcoin is as secure as Bitcoin as the monetary value itself.
Yeah. I mean,
So let's say in the future you have billions of dollars being settled in financial trades.
yeah.
The gold standard for settling that data on the most secure layer possible will be to settle it on Bitcoin. So when these real-world assets, they look to transact securely, efficiently, and in the most decentralized way possible, they will come to Bitcoin DeFi to do so, and that's where the infrastructure we're building today, block by block, will find its ultimate use case.
Super interesting. Okay. And when it comes to investing in the Alex project, how do people gain exposure to it?
Sure. And so the Alex ecosystem token we launched in January of 2022.
Okay, so it's 2 years old now.
Yeah, it's 2
Nice.
years old.
Yeah.
We built through the bear market.
Yeah.
It's both available on multiple major centralized exchanges.
Nice.
Like KuCoin, Gate.io,
Yeah.
Bithum,
Okay.
Mexi, and then several others.
Nice. And how's it progressed since January 2 years ago? Has it gone up, down, sideways?
It's been, I would say that Stacks and Alex in general tends to trade high beta to Bitcoin.
Right. Okay.
Right, and so as Bitcoin price goes up, we'll typically see Stacks price.
So has it 20x in the past 2 years or something, or?
Well, I would say at the lows of
Yeah.
the bear market, maybe it got down to 1.5 cents.
Okay.
And a few months ago, it was trading at say 44, 45.
Okay. So
And the
it's
price, it is very volatile.
it's gone 44x basically, or 40x at least.
Yeah, potentially from those
Right.
lows
Yeah.
to recent highs.
Wow. Okay. And I guess the guys you employ at Alex are paid in the token, as it is common for most crypto projects.
Sorry, what's that?
Are your employees paid in Alex token, as it is common in most crypto projects?
I think it sort of varies on a case-to-case basis per
Okay.
employee.
Yeah.
So, I can't speak to that in detail.
Yeah, but they can if they choose to be paid in the token as opposed to.
It might be a mix. I might be the preferences of that particular employee and what their
Yeah.
needs are,
Yeah.
their locality,
Yeah.
What's the best fit for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of
Sure. No, I know it's a common practice in lots of these projects.
Right.
And the other thing was, so it was released January 2022. When did when did the? How was the allocation? Was it a 50% pre-mine, 50% market, or was there a first round, then a VC round, then a final investor round, then a retail round?
Right.
Can you talk us through those steps and the allocation at each step?
Sure. So on our media, we have our tokenomics published.
Great.
I'm trying to think from memory how it was. I believe we have a 50% community allocation.
Right. Okay.
I
So
believe,
community meaning.
so community meaning that 50% of those tokens go towards, say, Alex stakers, LP providers, yield farming emissions.
Okay.
So that's sort of support for the community.
Right. Okay.
And then, just off the top of my head, I don't want to put out any inaccurate figures.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it was maybe something 10% team allocation.
Yeah.
I think 30 for possibly early investors or something around.
Okay. That's quite common, isn't it? Yeah.
30 for the Alex Foundation.
Okay.
That's correct.
That's common, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
It's fairly common.
So there's the pre what do you call it? The pre-allocation or the pre-mine
Right.
for the early team, and then eventually it comes to retail at a later date. Yeah.
something that's notable is that our total token supply is about 1 billion tokens.
Yeah.
We're close to having 700 million in circulating supply now.
Okay.
And so, at least when people look at that and consider fully diluted value, we do have 70% of tokens actively in circulation.
Okay, but you could release the other 30% at any point to dilute the supply.
Yeah, the other 30% very likely will continue to be there as staking rewards, LP provider rewards, yield farming that will be emitted over the next several years, and that's all subject to governance vote by the community of Alex holders.
Okay, so you can't just change the token supply unless something dramatic was to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like even around the Nakamoto release, even to pause or emissions as we made the transition, we went through a governance approval vote where Alex holders used their tokens to voice their opinion, and that is what the sort of my role in Alex Foundation is to be that liaison between the community voice and vote and AlexGO, the technology company that does the tech and smart contracts on the back end.
So you haven't had to do a Solana off and on just yet. You haven't had to reset the blockchain or reset anything, and
no. Stacks kind of like Bitcoin itself. It keeps ticking because it shares consensus. Bitcoin.
But is there a red button just in case that things were to go south very quickly?
Stacks. It's a completely decentralized ecosystem as well. It was built with the Bitcoin ethos in mind of prioritizing decentralization and security. So as far as I know, there is no chairman of Stacks. There's no CEO of Stacks. It is a decentralized network, and at times the network may become congested, but there's no reset or pause or a red button to sort of break it down.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you'd like to comment on? I know we've chatted for a while. I'm very grateful for your time here, by the way.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming by. Talking to you.
Awesome. Okay, we'll leave it there then.
Yeah, I'd say for those listening to check out the Alex app at app.alexlab.co. Try it for yourself. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AlexLabBTC. Visit our Discord. We have a lot of L2 integrations that are coming out in the following weeks, and additional functionalities that we're building out on a regular basis. And so do keep an eye out as we build this liquidity aggregation layer across Bitcoin L2s. And really, our point of view is that a rising tide lifts all ships. And the opportunity Bitcoin DeFi presents is so large that we see ourselves as collaborators. And so other builders, devs, L2s that are out there, reach out to us. We'd love to integrate you into our platform. We'd love to build together and connect you with our investors, with our network of builders, and really make the future happen, a Bitcoin economy.
And make some money as well, right?
If we're successful, that is the byproduct.
40x already. 40x already. That's pretty good.
Right. Volatile prices, but again, that's short-term noise. We're here building for 5-10 years in the future.
Okay, awesome.
So,
great.
We believe, I guess, from my banking background, Goldman likes to say that they don't believe in short-term greedy, but long-term greedy is good. So I would say long-term greed, positive, short-term greed, not so much. So we have that long view in mind always to build universally inclusive finance.
Super. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I'm going to speak to Merlin next. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Bitcoin education website Plan B Network and to the British Bitcoin exchange Coin Corner. Subscribe now for more interviews and more behind the scenes content.